How's it going, guys? It's the Pixelated Pumpkin, and in today's video, I'll be ranking all 11 Party City Halloween 2023 animatronics from worst to best. Now, in my opinion, Party City's lineup was stellar this year, and I don't think there's a single bad animatronic. So whatever I put last doesn't mean I don't like it, it just means I think the other ones are better than it for sure, but I really do like everything they have to offer this year. With that being said, let's get started with the worst spot on this list. Again, I don't dislike the prop at number 11. Coming in last place, we have Mad Monster Marlin, which again, it's not that I don't like this prop, it's just that everything else is much better than it in my opinion. This guy suffers from a few major flaws. For one, his lack of animation. All he does is move his arms up and down pretty slowly at that too, and there's nothing else really happening here. I feel like mouth animation would have improved this guy a lot. Hell, him just moving from side to side on top of the arm movement would have been better in my opinion. But all he does is just move his arms up and down, and it really isn't that scary, intimidating, or really that good in fact. His design as well is a little bit lacking, I feel. I mean, he has a cool looking face for sure, don't get me wrong, but everything else just is pretty basic and boring, and it's obviously a riff on the Frankenstein's monster type prop, which I feel like is done well, you know, definitely that style works well here, but it just, I don't know, there's not enough going on with this one for it to be really that interesting. I'm also not a fan of the audio here. He does speak phrases when I feel like he should have just been making grunts and stuff. He does say stuff, which doesn't really work in its favor in my opinion, and I don't know. Overall, I like Mad Monster Marlin, but I don't think he's that good. Definitely my least favorite from Party City this year, but he's not a bad prop. Coming in at number 10, we have the Ghost Boy Trick-or-Treater, which I think is a super creepy prop, but definitely could be improved on a lot here. For one, again, the animation here definitely hinders the prop a lot in my opinion. He just moves from side to side, and it really is not that impressive. I mean, it could have done something a lot cooler. Since he is a ghost, I thought it would be really cool if he'd start floating up like he's actually a dead kid. I know that's pretty dark, but that would be so awesome. Like, there's something actually supernatural going on with this little trick-or-treater here. But the design of it is really good, and I just really like all the bloodiness, and especially the eyes on this one. I wish the eyes didn't light up, though. I know that's something you could probably just unplug and it'll be fine, but I don't know. I don't like the glowing eyes on this one. I feel like it would be more creepy without it. But still, I do like this. The design, again, is very creepy, and I like the blood on it, too. This one does feature a little bit of gore, which is always nice to see. So overall, I think this one is really cool and really creepy, but just suffers from a lack of good animation, and again, I just think everything above this is better. It's kind of hard to do this ranking video since all the props are so good, but anyways, this guy's coming in at number 10. At number 9, we have Pop-Up Pumpkin Patch. Definitely one of the more unique jump scare props out there, because it already starts off pretty tall, like about the height of an average-sized human being, and then it shoots up to around 9 feet tall, which is a cool jump scare, but I don't know, I feel like this thing would have probably fared better if it was just another Mr. Dark reskin, but then you wouldn't have the size of this thing, which is just enormous in person. This is truly a massive prop. Regardless of whether it's activated and it jumped up fully or not, this thing, just a general size, is enormous, which definitely adds to it, I feel. But in terms of looks, I don't think it's the best. I do like the jack-o'-lantern face on this one, though. It's very traditional looking, which I like, but at the same time, it kind of looks pretty cheap. And the same goes for the rest of the body here. There's not much detail going on, and I feel like it could just been designed a little bit better. Like, the clothing really isn't that good on this one. I feel like it definitely needed a lot more detail than it has. And even around the neck area here with the hay sticking out, it just kind of looks added on. It doesn't look too natural. Looks like there's too much of it too. It just doesn't look that good. Even the leaves on this one don't look that good either. Again, I just feel like this thing needs kind of a costume makeover for it to really look realistic and good. Again, definitely feels a bit on the cheaper side in terms of looks, but for the animation, I do like it. I don't think it's the most effective jump scare, but I don't know. I think it's a good one for sure. Overall, I do like this prop, but with just a few minor improvements, I feel like we could have had something really special here, on the lines of how Mr. Dark was back to us in 2021. I feel like there could have just been something more going on here that would have really caught people's attention, but oh well, it's still a decent enough prop in my opinion. Coming in at number 8, we have the Neon Ice Cream Clown, which is a really good clown in my opinion. This thing does a lot to make itself stick out from a lot of the other clowns, and I think it does a good job at doing so. For one, you have obviously the neon theming here, and the EL wires that are just all over this guy, making him literally neon in a sense, which looks so awesome in the dark. I also like the animation here. It's very similar to Hugs the Clown's animation, kind of that lunging motion, but it's pretty effective here, and it's a nice little, kind of jump scare, kind of not, just a reaching out motion, which works well, I feel. It's going to startle a few people. I also like the sign he's holding with the free ice cream on it. That looks really cool, and of course the ice cream cone he's holding as well is a nice detail. I do think the coloring on this one is also pretty good. Again, very, very bright colors, making him literally, again, the neon ice cream clown. So, again, I think it's a good clown, not that scary, but it's very, very unique, and it sticks out for sure, making it a pretty decent clown all around. Coming in at number 7, we have the Lunging Angel of Death, which is both a unique and generic prop at the same time. There's a few things up in this one that make it very unique, but then there's a lot that just makes it blend in with the rest, I feel, at least for, skeletal reaper looking things. So, to start off with what makes it look generic, the face on this one for sure is a super generic skull face. I would have loved to see something more unique, considering it is supposed to be like a cemetery statue / monument. I feel like there could have been something a little bit more unique going on there for sure. But then he's holding the sickle and flowers, which is super unique and a very strange combination, which I like a lot. That definitely makes it stick out among a lot of other props for sure. The wings on this one I feel like are a little bit too big for the body. I don't know, they're just like really, really massive compared to the height and the size of the actual statue itself. And I feel like they could have been a little bit more better designed. It kind of just a generic texture on there. It doesn't really have its own wing texture on there, I guess you could say. And for the animation, it's a very good jump scare. It's very fast, very solid, and it's going to come at you very quickly. So I have to say, it is a very, very good jump scare. Especially after seeing it in person, it is sure to startle a lot of people. With that, I don't really have much else to say about this one. Again, there's a lot that makes it unique and a lot that makes it stand in with the rest. But overall, it's still a good lunging jump scare prop. At number 6, we have the first of the two 12-foot animatronics Party City has to offer this year, being the 12-foot Wendigo. And this is our first ever Wendigo Halloween animatronic we have gotten, and I have to say it is about time because this is such a cool and unique creature. Now, I have to say I like this guy a lot, and even though it's 12-foot and I'm kind of getting tired of the 12-foot props, I definitely don't think it hinders it at all here. In fact, it makes it more of a terrifying monster, and it is super, super unique, of course. A Wendigo, it's about frickin' time we saw one of those. Now, I do have a few problems with this prop. Number one is definitely the clothing again. It definitely needs a costume makeover here. Same with the pop-up pumpkin patch. I have the same problems with this one. It is just a super, super generic clothing. Besides the moss around the shoulders and the hooves, I really feel like this thing should have just been way more detailed in the body. But that's really the only negative I have about this guy. Other than that, it is an awesome prop, especially the head and the face on this guy. It looks so cool. I love the skeletal deer head it has, the perfect depiction of a Wendigo right there, and the animation on this guy is crazy as well. It's not too common you see animation on a 12-foot prop, but now we're seeing a lot more, and I love to see it, especially with this guy here. The head movement is just crazy on this guy. I really like it. It's super unique. He's kind of looking around in all directions, and it looks very lifelike. I do have to give that some major credit there. The head animation is fantastic on this guy. Other than that, again, I do love this one a lot. It is a super, super cool 12-foot prop, and it's so cool to finally see a Wendigo Halloween animatronic. Now down to the top 5, we have the Evil Dead officially licensed taxidermy deer wall mount. Now this prop kind of rides the thin line of either being a life-size animatronic or a tabletop prop, but I'm considering this thing a life-size prop because, come on, it is enormous in person. It's literally the size of a real deer head, which is so, so cool. I think it just looks so lifelike and fantastic. I love the design of it. I love all the blood that's all over it. Looks just right out of the movie, in my opinion, and the animation on it is fantastic as well. You got it turning from side to side, and you even have the mouth movement, and it's very fluid and very realistic. Definitely one of the sleeper hits from Party City this year, in my opinion. A super, super underrated one, and something I'm hopefully going to get this year. I really want this thing, but I also have no place to really put it, so I'm still considering whether I should get it or not, but it is definitely one of my favorites from Party City this year, and a good option for anything under $100 for sure. It is so cool, and it's about time we've seen a prop like this. I feel like doing something like this is kind of a no-brainer, and it's nice to see it's finally being done, and definitely it's been done very, very well. So overall, I love this taxidermy wall mount. Super cool. Hopefully we see some other animals in the future. I don't know though, because again, this is officially licensed from the Evil Dead, but you could always do it with other animals. I think a bear would be really cool in my opinion, or a wolf head. But overall, this thing is super cool, and I definitely love it a lot. At number 4, we have the 12-foot pumpkin creep, and by far the best 12-foot pumpkin animatronic of all time, definitely beating out Home Depot's by a landslide for multiple reasons. For one, the pumpkin face on this one is not in the shape of a skull, but is in fact carved like a traditional jack-o'-lantern, which I love so much. Those are my favorite type of jack-o'-lantern props, when they're not in the shape of a skull, which is done way too much in my opinion. You know, it's definitely more common than you'd think it would be, and it is in fact done in the form of a traditional jack-o'-lantern, which are my favorite types of jack-o'-lantern props. Also, it features some pretty great animation here. He turns his head from side to side, looking down at all of those below him, which is definitely really cool. And his phrases as well are actually really decent, and I like them a lot for sure. And just his overall design is really good too. He's definitely very detailed in the body. This is one of those props that doesn't need a costume makeover. It's definitely really good. I like how you have kind of the moss and vines hanging down him, spiraling around his body until it reaches the bottom, which is really cool. And overall, I just think it's designed very, very well. This is Party City's like flagship item, I would say, this year. It was on the t-shirts they handed out to everyone at the VIP event, so thank you for that. I love that shirt. And anyways, I just love the 12-foot pumpkin creep. Definitely one of the best jack-o'-lantern props we've seen in a good while, in my opinion, and one I really, really love. Overall, it's a fantastic prop, a fantastic 12-foot prop, and just a fantastic jack-o'-lantern in general. Coming in with the bronze medal on this list, we have the drop-down Scarecrow. Easily the best jump scare animatronic of the entire year from any company, from any store. This is the best jump scare for sure. It is quite literally falling down at you, which is super, super scary, and it happens super fast, and it's a very, very intense jump scare for sure. I would argue this is definitely better than Emmeline's jump scare at Spirit Halloween. While that might be coming at you, it's a much slower jump scare than this guy. This thing, within half a second, it's already down in your face, which makes it super scary. Plus, it's also falling from a pretty high height, so you're worried it's probably going to hit you, but it doesn't, and it ends up scaring you a lot either way. I think the design of this one is also great. I love the face on it. It is pretty creepy looking. Maybe not the best Techie Toys Scarecrow face, but it's still pretty decent for what it is, and I do like the red eyes on there. Overall, this guy is really the complete package. You got a great looking prop on top of one of the best jump scares you could ask for, and overall, it is just really fantastic. I was impressed with this guy when I first saw him, and I still am, so that must tell you a lot about how good this guy is. He is just one fantastic jump scare. Coming in second place with the silver medal, we have the Mega Wolf. Now, this guy is awesome, and the animation is crazy, to say the least. So this guy starts out at around 9 feet tall already. He is just an enormous animatronic, and then he lurches forward, almost bends forward to jump scare you, which is a really, really good scare, and it is just so crazy to see something like that on a prop this big. I guarantee you people would think it cannot be done, but this prop right here proves that it can. A jump scare on a prop this big is insane, which is something I have to commend Techie Toys and Party City for. Really good job from their engineering team here, putting together such a cool animatronic. I also really love the design of this one. Now, this is an old video from their website. Unfortunately, the release model does not have the digital eyes, which I'm okay with. Honestly, I'm not the biggest fan of the digital eyes. They just gave him some normal yellow light-up eyes on the release model, which is fine in my opinion. I do think the face is awesome on this one, though. Looks really, really cool. The hands and the feet for sure. But then, unfortunately, this is another prop that has a pretty lame-looking costume. I don't really like the vines, or I guess, the creepy cloth hanging off him. It doesn't really make sense why he would, have vines on him. And I don't really like the shirt either. I think a more classic plaid shirt, like, typical werewolves are always wearing would have worked better here. Sure, it would have been, more the same old, but it still would have made more sense in my opinion. Overall, though, this is such a fantastic and very, very unique looking werewolf prop with some really crazy animation, which I'm really hoping to see in person soon. Overall, I'm a huge fan of this one, and it is an awesome, awesome animatronic. Coming in first place as the best Party City Halloween 2023 animatronic of the year, we have Leatherface. Now, I love this one so much. It is easily the best out of the three we've gotten this year, and honestly, the best Leatherface animatronic of all time. I would say this even beats out the original Jemmy Leatherface animatronic from way back in the day. This prop does so much right to capture the intensity and horror of the original movie, as well as taking Leatherface and ripping him right out of the screen and putting him into animatronic prop form. I can't stress enough how accurate this prop is to the movie and how good it looks as well. It is phenomenal. For one, the animation. The thrashing, vibrating motion of Leatherface just manages to capture the intensity and fear of the movie perfectly. When his animation starts and he just starts violently vibrating, you're thinking to yourself, oh shit, I better run from this guy. And then he throws up the chainsaw in a violent jump scare motion, which is so awesome. And then he just goes crazy with it. I absolutely love how they just managed to capture that intensity once again perfectly with this guy. It's honestly incredible how lifelike he feels, even though it's just a vibration motion and then he lifts the chainsaw up. It's done very well. And as for how he looks, they managed to capture the most minute and tiny details from Leatherface in the movie and put them into this prop. It's honestly phenomenal. They got the color of the chainsaw right. They got the shirt and tie right. They even got the apron right. They even put the little bracelet he has on in the movie. And the face on this one looks phenomenal. It is super realistic looking, and the design of the Leatherface mask is done phenomenally. It's honestly perfect in my opinion. Overall, this is easily the best Leatherface animatronic of all time and my absolute favorite animatronic of Party City Halloween 2023. Alright everybody, that's going to do it for my ranking of the Party City Halloween 2023 animatronics. I really hope you guys enjoyed this ranking video. Be sure to let me know what your rankings are in the comments below, as well like and subscribe, I'd really appreciate that. And remember, nobody outpixelates the pumpkin.